Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to go over percentages of an amount. This is a question that we will be progressing towards, and we will be doing this question without using a calculator. So if that is any of interest, please do stay tuned. So without further ado, let's begin. Let's go through basic percentages. Now, if you do know your basic percentages, you can skip along. If you don't, please do watch this part of the video as it's very important. Okay, to work out 10%, all you have to do is divide your answer by 10. So if I say to you 10% of 600, that would be 60. Because all you're going to do is divide your answer by 10, so I'll knock this 0 off. Here's another example, 10% of 54. Right, here's my invisible decimal place. I'm going to go back by 1. That will be 5.4. So, essentially, all you're doing is dividing your answer by 10. Right, to work out 5%. In order to work out 5%, you need to first work out 10%, which is divided by 10. Then, in order for you to go from 10 to 5%, you halve your answer. So, 5% of 600. The first thing you want to do is 10% of 600, which is 60. Then you want to work out 5% of 600. So to go from 10 to 5, you divide your answer by 2. Whatever you do to one side, you must do it to the other. So 60 divided by 2 is 30. Here's another example. 5% of 400. First work out 10% of 400, which is 40. Then work out 5% of 400. So to go from 10 to 5, you divide your answer by 2. 40 divided by 2, which is 20. So that is how you do 5%. Notice that we had to use 10%. Now 10% is very crucial when you're dealing with percentages without a calculator, because from 10% you can go to 5, you can go to 2% by divided by 5, from 10% you can go to 100%, you can go to 1%. We will look through all these questions today. 50%, so you've probably seen 50% before. If you've gone to shopping, you've probably seen 50% of your JD Sports trainers, 50% of your groceries. If you go Sainsbury's, you've probably seen 50% of a drink. But what exactly does 50% mean? 50% basically means half. So divide your answer by 2. So here's an example. 50% of 300. So what is half of 300? We know that's 150. Here's another example. 50% of 25. What's half of 25? Well, that's 12.5. How do I work out 25%? Well, the first thing I need to do is work out 50% by halving my answer. Then I must halve my answer again. So, essentially, all I'm doing is halving my answer and then halving my answer again. So I'm halving my answer twice. Here's an example. 25% of 100. First, I want to work out 50% of 100. Because remember, we need to work out 50% first, which is 50. Then I want to work out 25% of 100. So I had to halve my answer. So whatever I do to one side, I must do to the other. 50 divided by 2 is 25. Let's try another one. So another example, 25% of 60. So 50% of 60 is 30. 25% will be halving your answer. So half of 30 is 15. So I've basically halved my answer and halved it again. 85% of 600. The first thing I want to do is work out 10%. So 10% of 600 is 60. Okay, I need my answer to get to 80%. Well, I would need how many 10% to get to 80? I know one 10% gives me 60. Another gives me 60. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 60, 60, 60, 60, 60, 60. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if I was going to add them up, 10 plus 10 plus 10, but there's 10 lots of 8, so 10 times 8, which is 80. So 80% will be 60 times 8. 60 times 8, so I can manipulate this. 6 times 8 is 48. So 60 times 8 will be 480. So that will be 480. So all I've done is times that by 8, and all I've done is times that by 8. So then I need 5% of 600. So what's half of 10%? Half of 10% is 30. So I've worked that out. Then all I have to do is add 80% plus 5%. 80% plus 5% is 85%. So 85% of 600 is going to be 480 plus 30. 0 add 0 is 0. 8 plus 3 is 11. Carry 1 is 510. So 85% of 600 is 510. 35% of 46. The first thing you want to do is 10% of 46. So 10% of 46 is, here's my invisible decimal place, going to go back by 1, that's 4.6. 5% of 46 is half of 4.6. So I've got 4.6 and I'm going to divide it by 2. So 2 into 4 is 2. 2 into 6 is 3. So that's 2.3. We're going to need this, so I'm going to highlight this. Right, so you know one of your 10% gives me 4.6. Another 10% gives me 4.6. Another 10% gives me 4.6. 10 plus 10 plus 10, which is 30%, or I can do 10 times 3, which gives me 30%, of 46 is 4.6 times 3, so I have 4.6 times 3. Again, I can manipulate this as 46 times 3. Now, because I jumped 1 to the right later on, I'm going to jump to the left. So 3 times 6 is 18, carry 1. 3 times 4 is 12, add 1 is 13. Now I have 138 because remember I jumped 1 to the right, I must jump 1 to the left, so it's 13.8. Now that I've got these two, all I have to do is add the 5% to 30%. So 5% plus 30% is 35%. So 35% of 46 is 2.3 plus 13.8. 3 plus 8 is 11. Carry 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 3 is 6. And that's 16.1. Right, guys, pause the video and have a go at these questions. 80% of 30. So the first thing you want to do is work out 10% of 30. So 10% of 30 is 3. 80% of 30. Now I'm going to need 8 lots of 10 in order to reach 80. So basically I'm timesing by 8. So 10 times 8 gives me 80. Whatever I do to one side, I must do to the other. 3 times 8 is 24. So your answer is going to be 24. 60% of 67. Right, again, start with 10%. 10% of 67 is, here's your invisible decimal place, you're going back by 1, 6.7. 60%, you're going to need 6 lots of 10, so 1 times by 6. You're going to do the same thing on the other side. So 6.7 times 6 is going to be 40.2. Now, if you don't know how to multiply by decimal places, please do check my videos. I have done a video based on multiplying decimal numbers. Okay, 35% of 76. The first thing you want to do is 10% of 78. So that will be 7.8. Then you need to get to 30% of 78. So you need to times that by 3. So 7.8 times 3, which is 23.4. So that will need 30% because we need 35. So far we've got 30, so we need 5 more. So 5% of 78 is going to be half of 7.8. Now half of 7.8 is 3.9. Right, so we're going to need this as well. So 30 plus 5, which is 35%. So 35% of 78 is going to be 27.3. So 35% of 56. So 10% of 56 is going to be 5.6. 30% of 56, you're going to times your answer by 3, times your answer by 3. That's going to be 16.8. 5% of 56 is going to be half of your 10%, so your half of 5.6, which is 2.8. All you have to do is add them up. So you are going to add this up and this up. So if you're going to add this up, 30 plus 5, which is 35% of 56, 8 add 8, which is 16, carry 1, 6 plus 2, which is 8, 8 plus 1, which is 9, and then add your 1, because 1 add 0 is 1, so it's 19.6 tots. Now we can see that this question has a decimal place. So how are we going to answer this question? The first thing we need to do is work out 10% of 60. 10% of 60 is 6. But we need to get our answer to 6.5. Now, the next thing I will need to do is work out 1%. How can I go from 10% to 1%? I can divide 10 by 10, because if I do 10 divided by 10, that gives me 1. Whatever I do to one side, I must do to the other. So 6 divided by 10, here's your invisible decimal place, you're going to go back by 1. That will give me 0.6. We're going to need this 1% later on. We need to get to 6.5. So I need to work out 6%. Now that I have 1%, so I know that 1% is 0.6. I need to get to 6%. So I need to times my answer by 6. 1 times 6 is 6. 0.6 times 6 we need to work out. So I've got 0.6 times 6. I'm going to move this to the right, so times that by 10. Later on I need to divide by 10. That's 6 times 6, which is 36. Then I'm going to divide by 10 because we times by 10. So that will give me 3.6. I know that 6% is going to be 3.6. So this one is going to be very valuable because we need 6.5. So far we got 6. How can I get 0.5? I can go back to 1%. Now to get to 0.5, all I have to do is halve 1%. So 0.5% of 60 is half. So I need to halve 0.6, which is 0.3. So all I have to do is add these two together. So 6% and 0.5 gives me 6.5% of 60, and 3.6 plus 0.3 is 9, which is 3.9. So your answer is 3.9. Pause the video and have a go at this question. Okay, so let's begin. First, we need to start with 10%. So 10% of 900 is 90. Then we need to get to 5%. Remember, we need to get to 15.5. So 10 plus 5 will give me 15. So we're slowly getting there. It's going to be half because from 10 to 5 you divide your answer by 2. So half of 90 is 45. Then you need to get to 1%. Because once you get to your 1%, you can get 0.5. So 1%, you can go to 10% and divide it by 10. So divide your answer by 10. So you're going to have to divide this by 10 in order to get to 1%. Which is 9. To get to 0.5% of 900, you're going to half your answer. Half your answer, 9 divided by 2 is 4.5. So you're going to need this one. You're going to need this one. And you're going to need this one. Now you're going to add them up. So 10 plus 5 plus 0.5, you can ignore this one because we don't really need that. So 10 plus 5 plus 0.5 is 15.5%. Of 900 is going to be 90 plus 45 plus 14.5. So let's write that down. 90 plus 45. They have an invisible decimal place here. You got 4, you got 0.5, and add them up. That's 5. Decimal place. 0 plus 5 is 5. 5 plus 4 is 9. 9 plus 4, which is 13. So your answer is 139.5. And that's literally how you do that. Right. For the next one, again, 10%. So 10% of 500, that's 50. 5% of 500 is you're going to divide your answer by 2, which is 25. Then you need, so if I add these two together, that's 15. Now if I do 17.5, because we need 17.5%, and if I subtract that by 15%, I'm left with 2.5%. I can halve my 5% in order to get to 2.5. So 2.5% of 500 will be half of 25. Half of 25 is 12.5. So all I have to do is add them up. 10 plus 5 plus 2.5, that's 17.5% of 500. You got 50 plus 25 plus 12.5. So let's do this here. You got 50, there's an invisible decimal place. I'm just going to plug that in. 25.0, 12.5. Right, 0 plus 5, that's going to give me 5. Decimal place, 0 plus 5 plus 2, which is 7. 5 plus 2, which is 7 plus 1, which is 8. So your answer is 87.5. Well done for getting this far to my video. If you really like my video, please do share, please do subscribe, and thank you very much.